So in the general election, there are Republicans in Broward County, right?
Oh,
So
yeah, we always
what,
have some. Chris Eddy, nice guy. He's going to be running this time. It's
okay.
in the past, it's been a woman named Carla Spalding, who I also very much like. But yeah, no, there are Republicans.
But what
But
percentage of the vote do they get?
she, Carla last time, and this was because it was a very unique election and the Republicans really swept the state in the 22. She got 10 points. She got within 10 points of Debbie, which is the closest that anybody's ever gotten in a
Hmm.
general. But it was a very unusual year. I do not see that happening again, especially given that the only other major election that's going to be happening when during our August election is a state Senate race.
Hmm.
So we're not going to see that flux that we're gonna get. And even come November, the only big race that's on the ballot here is Rick Scott. And even though he is Republican, he is not supported like DeSantis is. So you're not going to see the people coming out in November full force for Rick Scott. Like it's just
Hmm.
not going to pull the state like it did in 22. And so the Republicans in this county, and for the most part, they know it. I go to all the Republican club meetings. I know them. I'm friendly with them. They like me. I don't have a problem getting along with all different people,
Hmm.
but they do know that they're not winning that seat. They know it. They
Okay.
always have somebody in it, but they know they're not winning it.
What would it take to run as an independent if you were going to go down that road in that county? Could you get your name on the ballot in the general?
I could get my name on the ballot, but you won't win. You know, you won't even come close. You'd be lucky to pull 5% as an independent. It just everyone in this county well, even if you were in the general, let's say, and I'm as an independent, people are so tribal here. So
Hmm.
you're going to have all the Republicans are going to vote Republican, all the Democrats are going to vote Democrat, and the independents, they don't even always come out and vote.
Yeah.
So it really depends on whose tribe motivates the most people to come out and vote in that election. And even though there are tons of independents, they're not that motivated right now. They're
Hmm.
not feeling motivated. They don't, the truth is they're in the none of the above category. We're seeing uncommitted votes left and right.
Yeah.
So I don't feel that anybody is motivating people enough that it's not going to push the needle enough to the direction away from our Democratic majority here. It just
Right.
won't. So I'm in a very safe blue seat. I really am. And as much as Debbie will try to tell people that if I win the primary, we'll lose to the Republican, that's just not how this works. That's
Okay.
her talking point.
Okay. So you're trying to primary Debbie Wasserman Schultz on the Democratic ticket. The Democratic Party is going to ignore you, right? They're not going to have anything to do with you.
No, no.
They're
And that's okay.
100%
I
behind their
learned that
queen.
last time. I don't want anything to really do with them either. Not really. I mean, if we get enough momentum and we have money, which I believe this time is definitely going to be a much bigger put, like we're going to come out a lot stronger this time just with name recognition and stuff alone. But they might say, well, you can come and talk at this meeting or you can, and I'll do that. If I'm invited to go and talk, I'll talk to them. But the last time I ran, I spent an inordinate amount of time trying to like work my way in with them. Won't do that again. That's a complete waste of time. And so we have to go around them, unfortunately. And it's ironic because I am infinitely more Democratic than any of them are. I actually have true Democratic principles that I support that most of the Democrats in this area probably couldn't even tell you what is on their platform. They probably don't even know what's on their platform. They just say, vote blue, vote blue.
Yeah.
So no, I am not with them. But that's just the way our strategy, it's just the way it is here. I'm closer to them than the Republicans. Let's say that
Okay.
in theory.
Right. Sure. All right. So what do you need? So campaigning is going to be hard. What do
Campaign.
you have? I'm sure you've plotted this out. What's different this time than in 2020?
I mean, we spent I mean, my business partner and I, we took that campaign and transitioned it into a podcast, which we've been working for over 3 years now, building coalition, building connections, getting name recognition. And also the other thing that we do is serve. We're always out doing community service. My last campaign was a service-based campaign. This campaign will be a service-based campaign. We have volunteers that don't do any canvassing, that all they do is community service. When we canvass, we actually ask people what we can do for them to help them. I've done everything from call mayors about potholes to, help somebody get her prescription fixed with her ophthalmologist, like whatever it is. So when you do that, even if you don't win, you win. And this is why when I ran the first time, I'm like, there is no way I'm spending a year and a half of my life trying to win an office that will most likely not happen. So the only way to do it is to do a service campaign. So that way, regardless of what happens, I didn't waste my time.
Yeah.
And that's how I see this. This campaign is not about me winning this seat. Yes, that would be ideal. It would be lovely to get rid of Debbie Wasserman Schultz and have somebody in there that can't be bought. But that's one tactic and strategy. I am very active in the outside. I believe organizing and activism is key in pushing this. It's like the outside wants to fight about who's on the inside, and the inside it all has to come together. It all has to come together. So this for me is a strategy to push forward my mission. And my mission is transforming politics into service. My personal real feeling is I care about the least of these. I do. I've been called Communist Karen more often than I would like. But you know what? At the end of the day, I don't care how rich the rich get. I really don't. If you can do it without screwing your workers, screwing the environment, and paying your fair share of taxes, have at it, man. You want to fly with a gold-plated plane, toilet on the plane. And yeah, I have been on one with a gold-plated toilet. Wow. All the power to you. All the power to you. But your workers need to be able to exist nicely on a 40-hour-a-week job. They need to be able to have healthcare. They need to be able to have a roof over their heads. They need to be able to have education for their kids. So when those things are taken care of, I am extremely very libertarian when it comes to the other end. Okay. I honestly, I don't think they can do it. I actually don't think people can be billionaires without screwing everybody. I don't think it is possible. And the truth is, we'll never really know. But I don't think it is possible. So my concern is with the least of these. I am concerned with how we treat people in this country. I am concerned with how we treat people at the border in this country. And I'm a human person. It is not okay to treat people the way we treat people. I say it with immigration all the time. I don't care what your immigration policy is. I wouldn't necessarily be outraged if you said we're not accepting people for a while. Okay, that's fine. We can discuss your policy. I will discuss policy. You do what most people, I get it. There is no reason in the world that we need to treat people the way we're treating them at our border. None. I don't care if they're criminals. I don't care if you label them a criminal just from being here. This is not how we treat people in the richest country in the world. It's completely unacceptable to me. So those are the things I talk about. We can argue about your path to citizenship. We can have lots of discussions about that. Treating people this way is not okay. It's just not okay. And blaming the victim, I am done with that. All I see are mothers bringing their children over and swimming over razor wire. Yeah, no. I am just not with that. So that's what I'm about. I'm about people being treated kindly and fairly, and I am about justice. We always say reason, passion, and justice. And those are my three key things. And how we treat people in this country is not just. And that's what I'm about.
So how much money do you need to raise to run an effective campaign against Debbie Wasserman Schultz? Well,
okay. We would like, obviously, to hit at least $1.5 million.
Okay.
That would be like a nice goal. We did it last time with 400,000 and got close to 30% in a pandemic where we couldn't even canvass for 6 weeks. So, what it takes, I don't think is as much as people think it does if you really have a good grassroots game. And now that we have canvassable areas, that really helps us a lot. We need money. APAC is going to come at me with everything they've got. And because our primary is not until August, they're going to have a nice 2 full months of no one else to be attacking but me.
Yeah.
So we need money. I will say that we are working on the possibility of there might also be a PAC that is forming that might be of some assistance to us, which I will be able to have more information on for people, like anybody who wanted to drop more than their $6,600 couple donation to me. If you wanted to really help, there will be a means for people if people have big money and they would like to see Debbie Wasserman Schultz be taken to task for everything that she's done. There is a way to do that. And so because if somebody said, hey, I'd love to invest $1 million in you. Okay, well, I can only take 3,300 from you, but by all means, let me find you someplace to put the rest of that. So that's something that in the past grassroots campaigns have been fighting against is we're always fighting 2 to 1. We're fighting a candidate and their PAC.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming out with something a little bit different. There's something else that's going on now. So, and more on that in the upcoming weeks. But there will be means for people who would really like to just donate a chunk of money to get rid of her. There will be a way to do that for you.
Well, I would imagine that you would get a lot of support even just from people around the country, because Debbie is, even though she represents your part of your neck of the woods, she unfortunately has a lot of power, and that affects all of us in the entire country, because she is, sitting there on her perch.
Oh, so this interview alone will cost me something. I don't know what, but every time I do something that causes her to have a Marsha moment, something happens to us. Now, the last time I did it was when we had Matt Taibbi on the show. And then after that, we got demonetized for a couple of months. So like just things happen. So I'm just telling you, whatever, the chips are going to fall where they may. But when she sees this, she's going to lose. And she won't acknowledge that she even has a challenger. She will go the entire thing without even mentioning that she's being challenged, which is fascinating. But she will have things done to us. So that's how.
Well, I mean, look, and yeah, they definitely have a lot of power. When I first got started on YouTube back in 2019, or January 2019, anytime I did a segment on Nancy Pelosi, I mean, it was just a strange, and I documented this every time I did anything negative on Nancy Pelosi, the video got demonetized. And it was like, really? There's nothing in here that's violent. There's nothing in here that's misinformation. There's nothing. I'm just being negative about Nancy Pelosi. And that's, she reps Silicon Valley and they protect her.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with this video. Now, Debbie is not Nancy Pelosi level. She's not.
But no, she's not. But she's still very powerful in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, she is. But a lot of it, I've come to realize, has nothing to do with like or respect. They're all scared of her. Yeah. It's bizarre. And down here, people are so scared of her, which is so bizarre. I keep saying, repeat after me. That's our employee. She is our employee.
Yep.
Now, why people tolerate being talked to by their employees that way, I don't know. But I am not one to be intimidated. I am not one to feel like I am subjugated to anybody. So, bring it. I don't, she doesn't concern me at all. Now she will do things like for example, last time we ran, if you had typed in jenperlman.com or jenperlmanforcongress.com, both of those went directly to her congressional page, which happened directly after I actually sort of cock-blocked her at a Black Lives Matter event. Mm-hmm. I created a situation where she wasn't invited to speak and she left there pretty angry. And the next thing you know, my name went to her congressional page through some sort of Panamanian company. But so those are the kinds of things that we're dealing with, like a petulant child.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we're dealing with here. It's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, once people see that it's a little safe and they can dip their toes in, her support is a mile wide, but an inch deep. I got to tell you, the people are mostly scared of her. I've had people inside the party come up to me quietly after events when it's just somebody and me in a parking lot and tell me, please save us from her. And people that would never say that publicly, that she thinks are her friends. So it's very interesting. People are scared of her. Now, maybe she has things on people. I don't know. I'm not tolerating it anymore. So if AIPAC wants to come at me, bring it. Call me a self-loathing Jew. Call me whatever you want to call me. That's fine. I need the money I need to reach the people I need to reach. And they're going to be screaming in their little echo chamber over and over and over again. But they have a very finite audience. I have an endless audience. And that's the difference. So, well, I think our chances are good. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it were possible. It's a long shot. It's always a long shot to take out an incumbent. And again, that's why I create this as part of a bigger campaign and a mission to help the least of these. Because now I'm going to get the next 5 months of national platform to be talking about what I'm talking about. That moves a needle, right? That's why I support Dr. West. It isn't because I think he can win. It's because that's the message that I want circulating. That's the mission that I'm on, is to help the least of these. So that's what it's about. And anything I can do to push that needle just a little bit until it topples, that's what I'm going to do. And I am in a position where this is the way I can help. And I don't know very many people that would be able to do this. So, and certainly not as a Jewish person that's an anti-Zionist.
Right.
Which is, I think, needed right now. There is not a single Jew in Congress, in my opinion, that is standing up correctly on this. There's a handful, like Raskin, that I think they voted or abstained or voted present on that resolution. Like they didn't say yes, but they sure as hell didn't say no, or he said it, but then he didn't vote it. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
I think there's like 35 or 38, you have to check, Jews in Congress between the Senate and the House. It's something like that. And that's a lot. I don't think people understand how many that is, considering the proportion of the population that
Right.
Jewish people represent.
I think that the Jewish population is what, 4%, but the representation in Congress is like 15%.
That's right. It's very clearly, you know, which is why when Jews play the anti-Semitism card, it's very frustrating to me. And you know, it's like I don't have a problem with hate speech. Hate crime is another story. Hate
Right.
speech, I don't mind. Somebody wants to walk up and down my street saying, I hate Jews, all the power to you, man. I don't care. I actually prefer to know who my bigots are.
Sure.
So hate speech doesn't bother me. The problem with Jews in this country, a lot of them, is they're so used to not feeling unsafe. Like, actually, we're safe. We're safe. We've made it, people. We've made it. Jews are not the oppressed minority in this country. We're just not. Yes, people say mean things. Yes, they paint swastikas on synagogues. Yes, there are hate crimes. But as far as any systemic oppression,
Right.
I would love somebody to show me wherein the Jews are systemically oppressed. If somebody could show me that, then I might have a different sort of thought on this. But we're not. They just don't like us. They say mean things. They're anti-Semites. That sucks. Okay. But that's just life. Like, you have to work on the systemic problems, not just the individuals that say mean things.
Right. Well, and the reality is that Jews have a disproportionate amount of power
Correct.
for the population. Just like you said, Congress, in media, in money, there's a disproportionate, they're not 4%.
Right. And so we're
these
not
various
disenfranchised. We are not the oppressed. Jews are not victims. We're
Right.
survivors. We're survivors. Be proud of that. Be proud of that. But stop playing the victim card. Well, Debbie does it because she doesn't have a whole lot else. She does her breast cancer survivor and her anti-Semite card. Those are her two big ones.
Right.
But enough. Jews are not victims, and I'm tired of being portrayed that way. We are beyond not victims. We are like, we've thrived.
Right.
I think it's safe to say that the Jews have thrived. And so, yeah. And when you see hate crimes, like somebody going into a synagogue and shit, yes, that's a big problem. And I believe that hate crimes need to be prosecuted to the nth degree. I am all for hate crime enhancement, all for it. I am all for it. But we see just as many killings, if not more, of many other subjugated groups of people. When you see somebody go into a black supermarket in a black neighborhood and start gunning people down, those are people that are subjected to a systemic amount of oppression. That is a concerning problem. The Jews are not those people.
Right.
And
Right.
I reject that. And so that is what they're trying to do. Oh, they're mean to us. They painted swastikas on. Really? You will not survive this world, people, if that is where you're going to get caught up. And I quote the great Tim Black on that. I can't claim that one, but it's like, just seriously. And so that's where I am. And I'm just not having it with them anymore. And
All right,
I feel infinitely more enraged and emboldened this time. I will tell you that.
It sounds that way. And I think you're right. You've built up more of an audience. You've built up more of a name. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, I think, has done the opposite in a lot of ways. I think people are very outraged by the war that is going on, and they don't want to continue supporting it in any way. So
Exactly.
I do think that you have much more of a fighting chance this time. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank
Anything
you.
and I think there's going to be a lot of people in this country who would like to see Debbie Wasserman Schultz ousted. So I think whatever you set up for fundraising will probably be pretty effective.
Yeah.
We do have your website. So it is gen2024.org. that is
Yes.
where people can go now to donate, to get started on donating to the
And
campaign that
please,
is
I
hopefully
mean,
going to oust
yeah,
Debbie Wasserman
we
Schultz.
are just starting, and soon we will have obviously a full website. Like all of that stuff happens,
Right.
but it like takes money to make money,
Yeah.
and it's a chicken and an egg. So that's what it is. But we definitely need help. There's no way around it. And I will special shout out to anybody in Wyoming. Do you have any Wyoming people out there? Because Wyoming is the only state wherein I did not get a donation the last time we ran.
Really? Well,
Yes.
there's not a lot of people in
I
Wyoming to
don't care.
start.
Somebody out there in Wyoming, send me a buck. I
Okay.
feel like, and I was blaming it on the Cheneys. It was so funny. I'm like, I think this is a Cheney problem. But yeah, no, we need all the help we can get. Obviously, for me personally, small, like regular monthly small dollar donors is the best. Like I love having a network. I love having an army. And I feel like when people are monthly donors, they're part of the army and they're part of our mission. Not that a one-time donation isn't nice, it's lovely. But I feel like when you're monthly, it's like I feel like you're on the campaign with us.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that the most. I do. And I'm always the proudest to say how many donors we got more than how much money we got. And yeah, come on, Wyoming. Show up.
All right, Jen Perlman, good luck to you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for being here. Thanks for announcing your candidacy today here on this show. Really appreciate. And also just, good luck, man. Get rid of that woman.
I'm
Debbie
sure,
Wasserman.
and I'm sure you'd be happy to have us back on at some
Of
point to
course,
chat.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm working on it, but thank you so much.
All right, Jen, thank you. Good luck.
Bye.
Hey guys, be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you like this segment. Now, you might be wondering, this seems like it's part of a bigger show. You're right, it is. The full show is at KimIversonShow.com. So what you're watching is just a clip. And if you want to get the full experience, then you got to go to KimIversonShow.com. The show airs Monday through Friday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern at KimIversonShow.com. That is where you can watch the full show. Here, you just get clips. So click on the link down below, go to the full show, enjoy. Otherwise, I'll see you next time right here. And be sure, once again, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.